I'll tell you what, I'm very careful now, I'll tell you that.
Let me just see who's yeah, Joseph or Alex is not going to be on because he has no power.
Yep, Munzo has no power.
And Joe Mag is not on.
You on as far as microphone or
Yes,
no? You do.
They won't hear you if you don't have your mic on.
Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
I can't
Okay,
see
we're-
you
we're
though.
going to you can't see me?
Sometimes.
Right between the flags. He's on the big picture, Yvonne.
It's under Mark Simone. Good.
Oh, there he is now. I see him.
Just stalk him down. He won't stalk me. Okay, good. Show all my gray hair, Cindy.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna start by the pledge.
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Corbin? Lauren Corbin?
He was on.
Yes.
Keep going.
Zupan?
Here.
Walters?
Here.
Moses?
Here.
Jones? Dave Jones? Walrod?
Here.
Schwartz?
Here.
Goldstein?
Here.
Veronica?
Here.
Morelli?
Here.
Bono?
Here.
Cunningham?
Here.
Stokes? Stokes?
He was here. I
He
just
was
seen
here
him.
too. They all were.
Well, we got bumped off and came back on, John. Maybe some people are having trouble connecting.
You're the man, Jim.
Stepanski is absent. Becker?
Here.
Kavanaugh?
Here.
Roberts?
Here.
Maglioka? Ostrander?
Here.
I'll resend the invite just in case.
Okay. Yep. Mr. Mascari's on.
I see Lauren's trying to connect right now.
Okay.
Wonder what caused the power outage.
We had 2 power outages yesterday down our way, so.
Hopefully not an accident.
Well, if it's nice, like all bets are off.
Yeah, I know.
So was TJ.
Oh, you could probably start without him, and then you're not going to be
Lauren, can you hear us?
for a little bit anyhow.
Lauren Corbin,
He's not showing up.
There's TJ coming on.
Yeah, my internet puked.
There you go.
Oh, to live in the country.
Yep, there you are.
And same thing must have happened to Lauren.
There we go.
So Lauren's the only one we're really waiting for. Joe.
And Jones. Was Jones on though?
Was he on earlier, Dave?
Everybody must have had an internet outage at the same time.
Here he is.
It says that Lauren's trying to connect now, it says.
Yep.
Lauren's not able to connect. Well, I'll wait 3 minutes now or 4 minutes, and we'll do the public hearing, then I'll do the other thing. So you might just well instead of, because it's gonna be a half an hour. Hmm?
it should only take you a minute.
Yeah.
Karen.
Where's your cats, Evan? It's time to show off them cats. Joe's got his on.
Oh, look at.
There they are, yeah.
Sleeping. He is not at all interested in the affairs of state or county.
He has learned. That cat learned. That's a smart cat.
He slept through a lot today.
We'll give Lauren a couple more minutes. We got to start a public hearing at 2:15, so we've got 4 minutes, and otherwise we're going to be rushed with the state of the county and everything else and all the resolutions. So we'll do the public hearing. I'll do the state of the county, and then we'll do the rest of our business. Let's give Lauren a couple more minutes to get on.
Dave.
Dave.
Cliff, do you know when we get on this the 1B stage of vaccines, is there going to be people have make appointments, especially the elderly?
I think there's always going, I don't know for sure, but I think there's always going to have to be appointments.
Okay, good.
And there's a site you can go on to do it online rather than make a phone call.
Good.
The press release that Samantha put out yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I guess it was, has a link in there to where you can register.
My sister-in-law just spent 18 hours sitting in line in Florida to get a shot.
How many hours?
18.
Oh, geez.
That's a good way to get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric's not on, is he?
Yes, I am.
Oh, yeah, Eric, you want to answer that question?
Well, you did a good job. Yes, we do have people will need to register through what's called our CDMS system, which is online on our website. So that's how we'll be handling it.
But we're a couple of weeks away from that, right?
No, we're doing it now. We're registering people now that way.
Oh, okay.
Even the 1Bs, Eric?
No, we're not registering anyone outside of 1A category at this point. There's also a website at the state level that, whether or not determines if you're eligible. You can go there, you answer a few questions, and it tells you whether you're eligible or not. So that's one way to find out. And we put a chart on our website as to when the phases are. What we don't know is what days or time frame those phases will start. We get notified each week of a new group. So
Well, the seniors are asking us when they can sign up or whatever, and you'll let us know when that time comes, right?
most definitely. We've already been reaching out to the Office of Aging to coordinate that message.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna open the public hearing for local law number 10 for 2020, fixing the salaries for 2021. I need a motion for that, please.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Moses, second by Mr. Walters. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
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 Any opposed? Carried. Okay, is there anybody here to speak for or against fixing the salaries for 2021? Local law number 10. Questions? Okay, seeing none, motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Walrod, seconded by Ms. Kavanaugh. Is there any discussions? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, we'll get on to the state of the county. Useless fact number 1, but you'll want to pay attention next time you come into the building. That so far, our drinking fountain up here by the Board of Supervisors has saved 22,719 water bottles from going into our landfill. So, good fact to know.
How do you know that, John?
There's a counter on it, so.
All right, okay. That's
Pretty easy. This state of the county is going to be different because our lives have been consumed by this pandemic that's been put upon us. But I want to dedicate it to all of our employees here at the county for such a great job that they've done, providing the services and doing what they've had to do to get things done. And with that, I'd like to just start out with a quote that says, "You start by doing what is necessary, then you do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible." And who would have known at the beginning of 2020, we would be doing the things that we're doing right now, such as Zoom meetings with everybody on a TV monitor and doing business that way, whether it's meeting or interviews or that kind of thing. So with that, I'd like to start out with what can you say about 2020? We came into the year thinking that some of the biggest obstacles we would face were building the new Morrisville Highway Garage, bail reform, and the elections of 2020. No one could have predicted what we had, that we would have a year that we have had. I want to begin this year's State of the County by saying how proud I am of Madison County, of how our residents as well as our employees have stepped up throughout the year. Our economy has suffered. Our small businesses are still hurting. And we still have many people out of work. But through it all, many of you have found creative ways to stay afloat. You have shown kindness to your neighbors, and we will get through this. We still have a long way to go, but we have come out stronger than we were before. Some of the best solutions are thought of in the time of crisis. In 2021, we are looking to push forward, build our local economy back up, take a hard look at what we have learned, creative ways to stay afloat. We have shown kindness to your neighbors, and we will get through. All right, nobody wants to hear that guy. In 2021, we are looking to push forward, build our local economy back up, and take a hard look at what we have learned and find new ways to do things. We will take a look at what we can do to prepare for our future and how we can save costs and do things better. In March of 2020, Madison County government faced something they never had before, a global pandemic and a shutdown. What we thought would be 2 weeks of our employees working from home turned into 3 months. But during that time, even right now, as we are limited to only essential services in the buildings, Madison County continues to run and work for our residents. We declared a state of emergency and began emergency operations. The members of our Emergency Operations Center, which include our Public Health Department, Office of Emergency Management, Communications Center, our county administrator, as well as members of our Board of Supervisors, continue to work daily to keep the county operational and ensure the health of our residents. We still hold daily and biweekly meetings together, as well as with our hospitals, schools, colleges, nursing homes, and others within our community to make sure that everyone is all on the same page. At the time the county closed, we had almost 200 employees working from home, which was unprecedented, something this county had never done before. However, we were able to keep the services flowing for our constituents. Our mental health department and Department of Social Services were able to continue to hold appointments, provide services, and fill out paperwork by changing the way that we do business. Great job to both of those departments. I am proud of the employees we have here at Madison County, many of which have worked tirelessly since the beginning of this pandemic to continue to deliver the best possible services to our residents. Our public health department has gone on and above and beyond the call of duty in this time of crisis. These incredible individuals have worked tirelessly 7 days a week, hours on end, to ensure the health and safety of our residents. They have taken guidance that changes daily from our federal and state government, as well as CDC, and interpret it to educate and protect our residents. Our public health department also collaborated with SUNY Upstate to bring our mobile testing van to various locations throughout the county to provide accessible COVID-19 testing to our residents. Members of our public health department have worked hours on end to contact each individual who tested positive for COVID-19, as well as those who were in close contact with a positive individual, and providing them with instructions on how to proceed. Each day, the numbers continue to rise and our employees continue to push through without question. As we continue into the next phase of the pandemic, and with the arrival of COVID-19 vaccines, our public health department, along with our emergency management department, continue to push through this difficult time and are currently working on a plan for vaccination distribution. I know that our employees are tired. I also know that we have the best employees around, and they will continue to push through this unprecedented time. A heartfelt thank you will never be enough for all that you and your families have done this past year. The hardworking and talented staff of our public health department are led by Eric Feist. Eric, throughout this pandemic, has led with a level head and has always looked to the future so we could stay one step ahead as best we could. He has done an exceptional job on orchestrating the many moving parts of this pandemic response. His weekly video updates, including press conferences early on, were out of his comfort zone, but once again, Eric stepped up and he excelled. I would also like to thank the members of our Office of Emergency Management, led by Dan DeGeer. They have done an exceptional job of working with our public health department and have provided support with COVID-19 testing sites and so much more. Emergency management has done a great job adjusting daily to the new information that is provided by the state and being able to apply it to our COVID-19 response. Currently, the Emergency Management Department is working hand in hand with the Public Health Department and the state to develop vaccine distribution sites. This is just the next step to get us to the other side of this pandemic, so we get this all behind us and get back into business as usual. I heard a story from one of our employees that another employee was asking, why do we have to do this? It's not our job. But it is, and with most of our employees, I'd say 99.9% of them understand whether it's their job or not. They step up to the plate and we all work together. As Dan and Eric has, and both of those departments have come together to work hand in hand through this. And I'm particularly proud of both of them. As two people have differences always, they've overcome them and they've worked together. And I want to thank both of them personally from us, the Board of Supervisors, and myself. As part of the emergency response to COVID-19 pandemic, a joint information center was created, led by our public information officer, Samantha Field. This is the first time in recent memory that a communication center has been created within Madison County. This group was formed with members from multiple departments within the county and is charged with communicating and educating the residents of Madison County. These members have continued to collaborate with the many moving parts of the COVID-19 response to create a comprehensive website, social media communication, relationships with the media, and finding unique ways to communicate with those who do not have internet access. I am proud of the work they have done to be the bridge between the county and our community as a whole to keep the line of communication open through this unprecedented time.
Right off again.
Hold on, back on. Hello, Lauren.
Hello.
We thought going into 2020, the bail reform would be a disaster, and it has been. The Madison County Sheriff's Office adapted to this new law and continued to make arrests when appropriate. You created a new appearance ticket system formed to assist in the processing and releasing of persons in custody. Arraignments in general decreased in frequency as more and more defendants were released on appearance tickets. One of the few good things to come out of the pandemic was the courts can now do virtual arraignments, putting safety above all else and saving the county's expenses as well. This past year, Madison County was slated to spend a significant amount of money on centralized arraignment. As I said before, some of the best things are thought of in a time of crisis. We see the effectiveness of virtual arraignments, and I ask that the state make this permanent. Again, the state needs to come out of the dark ages and use modern technology for safety as well in cutting costs to our taxpayers. Despite the increase in risk to our officers, Madison County Sheriff's Office during the COVID-19 pandemic continued to serve and protect the people of the county. Our Madison County Sheriff's Office, led by Todd Hood, has adapted to the many changes over the past year, including adjusting and continuing their annual programs with the community and our youth. This year, the Shop with a Sheriff, trick-or-treating, and car safety events were all still done, but done differently, as well as many other programs. In 2021, the Sheriff's Office will submit their police reform plan to the state and implement any changes. The jail was also impacted by COVID-19, not only by the need to quarantine inmates if necessary, but also having to adopt new guidelines for staff to keep everyone safe and healthy. They successfully introduced tablets into the facility just prior to stopping all contact visitation. This enables inmates to continue contact with their family members through video visitation. At the beginning of last year, I wanted to designate 2020 as the year of the veteran. Our Veterans Agency, led by Veteran Services Director Ron Raymer, did a great job despite the pandemic. To highlight the different organizations of each monthly board meeting, we had many organizations participate, including the Canastota VFW, Syracuse Honor Flight, WAVEM, the American Legion, as well as Clear Path for Veterans. Our hats are off to all who have served and are serving our great country. In true Madison County fashion, we are able to end this year strong. With the help of Ron Raymer and County Historian Matt Ertz, these two put together a compilation of interviews from World War II and war veterans within our community. Their stories will be around for future generations to hear. As I have said many, many times, our history is where we come from, good or bad. If we try to rewrite history or wipe it away, it will repeat itself. We are supposed to be an intelligent people and understand these things, as well as learn from our past. Today, there are some in society that want to take our history. Our DMV and clerk's office again came through for Madison County residents. Our county clerk's office, led by Mike Kevel, created a drop box system to better serve the public during the COVID-19 pandemic and shutdown. People were able to not only drop off work for the clerk's office, but also for the DMV, so they could do registrations, plate changes, as well as license renewals. The Madison County Clerk's Office never closed. Despite New York State closing the courts, our clerk's office continuously recorded land transactions. As a result, we experienced a 5.7% increase in recording fees collected for the county. This equates to just under $500,000 collected for our 4 recording clerks. The 500% increase in the use of electronic recording helped to improve the office's efficiency despite the pandemic conditions and limited in-office staffing levels. In addition, a new revenue source through the local mortgage tax buffeted the county with $593,941. These big numbers help to offset the financial struggle of the pandemic and allow Madison County to limit the degree to which property taxes were raised to meet the governor's unfunded mandates. This was possible due to several advances which will benefit the DMV and the county for years to come. Despite the pandemic, the Treasurer's Office, led by Treasurer Cindy Edick, continued to provide tax collection services, issue certificates of residence for students attending community college, perform tax mapping services, and issue tax searches for many constituents. Processing real estate transaction. Also, they are financing our new highway project, attaining the best possible credit rating on the issuance of our short-term debt. There's going to be a $37 million bond issuance for our highway garage and the courthouse renovations, as well as the HVAC project in the county office building. This bond issuance will not cost the county taxpayers any more than our current debt service payment. We financed the radio system for $20 million over the course of 10 years. That has now come off. And the $37 million will be financed for 24 years, all on the same dollar budgeted for our debt service. Over the past year, the Treasurer's Office closely monitored sales tax revenue, worked with all departments to make unanticipated budget adjustments, and kept county officials apprised of financial concerns such as state aid delays and reductions. So far, COVID-19 has cost the county an additional $410,000. Instead of putting that cost onto our taxpayers, our departments were able to cut back on spending throughout 2020 and give money to cover the COVID expenses. Some of that cost was also covered by grants as well as FEMA reimbursements. However, we had to go into fund balance for additional funds, and this is why it is important to the board that we make sure we do not dip into the fund balance more in 2021. We do not know what rainy days are ahead of us, and we are trying to put ourselves in the best financial position possible. From the beginning of this pandemic, County Administrator Mark Simone and myself sat in on our regional control room calls with the state, doing our best to continuously advocate for Madison County, its businesses, and the rest of our central New York region. In the summer, when the governor had a phased approach for reopening, we fought for our region to reopen when our numbers were at a stable and safe rate, even though downstate that was not the case. At times, these calls seem fruitless and very frustrating, but we have continued to work hard with our neighboring counties to try and get things done for our residents and local businesses. This pandemic has been a challenging experience in many ways. One of that many of us have never seen before. It has taken a toll on our economy, our local businesses, and our residents. The economic hardship, as well as its policies that has been put the state in a position where they are looking to take money where they can and cut where they can. We have heard this on the state calls that we can expect at least a 20% reduction in state aid and possibly up to a 40% reduction in state aid. To cover the expected cuts from New York State, the Board of Supervisors passed a 4.9% increase for the 2021 budget. Many of us did not want to put that burden on our taxpayers, but we don't know what to expect in 2021 budget year or 2022 budget year. We hope that as the vaccine becomes more widely available, that our economy will begin to bounce back and our sales tax revenue will remain steady or even increase. If this is the case, I would like to set a goal and see a 0 or near 0% tax increase for 2022. We are at a crossroads here. The property taxpayers cannot continue to shoulder the burden for everyone in New York State, whether it's the schools, the towns, our city, our county, or our fire departments. We have to look at different ways of operating. It will not be fun and it will not be pleasant, but it must be done. Everything needs to be on the table. Huge consolidation, dissolving of entities, and sales of assets will all need to be contemplated. One of the biggest things we have learned throughout this past year is that we need to look at a new way of governing. The days of town government versus county government versus state government are a thing of the past and something we need to evaluate. We need to take a look at how we can share services and serve the people more efficiently and effectively. I have put together a consolidation and shared services group, which consists of several town supervisors within Madison County, as well as some of our department heads. We are evaluating on how we do things currently, and if there are things that we can adjust to do more effectively and efficiently. This includes how we currently work with each other to collect payment of taxes, maintain highways, policing, town courts, and many other things. With the uncertainty of the state's finances and a large deficit following this pandemic, we need to think of what 2030 will look like. How do we offset the deficit in anticipation of lack of state funding? We as a county need to plan ahead so that we aren't blindsided in trying to scramble for cost savings. This has to be done at the local level. So I am calling out Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie, Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, and our Governor Andrew Cuomo on how New York State is going to clean up their process and how they do business and how to become more competitive again. I have said many times that there are two New York states, an upstate and a downstate. When one does good, it carries the other. But right now, we're all hurting. The way out of this is not to throw more money at it. Much like as police reform goes and cashless bail reform goes, these people that represent us, they need to be rehabilitated on how to change our behavior and become more competitive again as a state. How can New York State continue on the path it is currently on? Not only financially, but also with its long list of regulations. The state legislature needs to look at themselves and ask the question, why are people leaving? And I will tell you, it is not the weather. For example, Florida has no income tax, lower property taxes, and a lot less regulations. New York State cannot sustain the path we are on, nor we will ever be the empire state again. We cannot be competitive with other states as long as the partisan politics of the New York State legislature stays in place. 2021 will be a year of rebuilding here in our community, from our small businesses to our relationships with our neighbors and how we govern. We look forward to the completion of our new highway facility and the construction of the Clockville Water District, as well as the beginning of the end of this pandemic. The vaccine is here. It is going to be a long process, but there is finally light at the end of the tunnel. We as a community need to keep pushing through this so we can return to doing things that we love and spending time with those who we love. Together, it will take what we have learned and the strength we have grown. We can make a better Madison County, better than ever before. This is the beginning of a new era. May God bless Madison County, New York State, and our country. Let's all say a prayer for our country and all of her people, and thank you as you keep your families first, and in our prayers, also, let's keep America first. Okay, we're ready to do business.
Okay. Resolution number 1. Resolution of appreciation, retiree recognition. Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution's been made. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Moses. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, first we have Laura Costello from the Board of Elections, who has worked for us from 1994 to 2020. I believe Mary Egger is on. Mary, would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you, John, Chairman.
I think Laura was not here anymore.
I think she is. Let me
Laura?
just take a peek. Yeah, I think she is by phone.
Okay.
So I appreciate the time that I can have to speak to in regards to Laura and her dedication. So I just want to say that she is completely dedicated and loves the election process beyond most people. She took pride at making sure that each election was ran smoothly and without a hitch. Most people are unaware of the immense details, the slew of regulations, and the millions of details in running an election. We have faced so many changes within the past 2 years, and that continues today with COVID and numerous executive orders that are passed sometimes weekly, daily. It was for a while. And Laura was key in making nearly all these changes seamless. The Madison County Democratic Party was fortunate to have her as commissioner for 26 years, and the committee has now created a huge loss, a loss of knowledge and experience, a loss for our office, a loss for our county, but mostly a loss for our voters. I want to thank Laura for caring it deeply as she did for the democracy and making sure that Madison County was represented in a respectful, and that she was ensuring that every vote was counted properly, and that she will truly be missed. She's a friend, and we will miss her. Thank you for the time, Chairman.
Thank you, Mary. Very kind words. I don't think I could have said it better myself or anybody on the board. Is Laura able to speak by phone? No? Laura, thank you very much. If you can hear us, we appreciate all of your hard work and service to Madison County. Thank you very much. Okay, next we have Richard McLaughlin from Solid Waste, 2010 to 2021. Is Amy on?
Yep.
Yes, I am. Thank you, Chairman.
How are you, Amy?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you very much.
So Dick was with the Solid Waste Department for just over 10 years. What we do in managing the county's waste stream isn't always easy or pleasant, but Dick would always be counted on to get the job done for us. He was also the familiar face that residents would see at our Cazenovia transfer station. So we wish Dick the very best in his retirement and thank him for his service.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Okay, next we have Lori L. Schurman from the County Clerk's Office, 2008 to 2021. And whenever we have a retirement in the clerk's office, I always have to remind our clerk, Madison County Clerk Mike Kevel, you have 3 minutes.
That's
Mike?
fair. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
All right. Well, Lori Schuerman joined us just a few months ago in the midst of the pandemic when we had to shift gears tremendously. She served most of her 12 years at the county in the mental health department. And I've got to say that moving her into the clerk's office to take care of so many of the different needs that have arisen and some of the long-term responsibilities that were good to pass on to that position has really kind of proven what I think a lot of people were suspicious of, that years at the mental health department are good preparation for working with DMV and with the county clerk. So I want to say to Lori Schuerman, thank you so much for stepping into a new role and for doing such a great job of taking care of so many customer questions and complaints and really being the face of distribution for our Madison County DMV for so many people during this pandemic. You've done a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, Mike.
Thank you. Lori, is there anything you'd like to say?
I'm just glad to have worked here, and I appreciate everybody and stepping up and helping me out in everything I've done. And you guys are great. Thank you.
Thank you for your service to Madison County. We appreciate it and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to go to preferred agenda. And right now, Government Operations Committee have 3 resolutions. We're going to put them at the end of the meeting under a regular agenda to do them separately. So we're going to start with Finance, Ways and Means. Resolution number 5, we'll start with that. Authorizing the chairman to sign contracts with not-for-profit organizations for 2021. Number 6, authorize the chairman to sign contracts with not-for-profit for the Madison County IDA. Number 7, authorizing the chairman to sign contracts for not-for-profits for Soil and Water Conservation District. And number 8, authorizing the chairman to sign contracts for not-for-profit organizations for Office for the Aging. Yvonne Norelli, Chairwoman, Finance, Ways and Means Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move for these resolutions for adoption, please.
Resolution has been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Roberts. Is there any discussion?
Just please note that in Finance, Ways and Means, today there was a correction on resolution number 5. And Cindy has that correction. It was in the next to the last paragraph.
We're not going to worry about that.
Okay.
Okay, roll call, please.
Zupian,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Moses,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Walrod,
Aye.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Goldstein, Jim Goldstein,
He's
Muted.
You're muted. The most said phrase over the past 9 months. You're muted.
Yes.
okay. Veronica, Rocky,
He's muted, but I can see his mouth moving. He gave you.
Okay, yeah. Should I put down thumbs up?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Norelli,
Yes, aye.
Bono, Ron Bono.
Yes.
Thank you. Cunningham,
Yes.
Stokes,
Aye.
Becker,
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Roberts,
Aye.
Ostrander,
Aye.
Corbin,
Yes.
1,400 ayes.
Carried.
We will go to regular resolutions, regular agenda. Resolution number 9, authorizing the assistance in defense of assessment review proceeding. Yvonne Norelli, Chairwoman, Finance, Ways and Means.
Mr. Chairman, I move for this resolution for adoption, please.
Resolution's been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Schwartz, is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
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 Any opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 10, adopting local law number 10 for the year 2020. Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution has been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Moses, is there any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Moses,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Walrod,
Aye.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Goldstein,
Yes.
Steve Veronica,
Aye.
Morelli,
Aye.
Bono,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Aye.
Stokes,
Aye.
Becker,
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Roberts,
Aye.
Ostrander,
Aye.
Corbin,
Yes.
Pan,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
1,400 ayes.
Carried.
Resolution number 11, authorize the chairman to enter into agreements with the city of Oneida and the town of Sullivan for COVID vaccination pod sites. Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution made, seconded by Mr. Walrod. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 12, amending the temporary coronavirus COVID-19 policy concerning pay, leave, and remote work. Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution has been made, seconded by Mrs. Norelli. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 13, creating a part-time office assistant 2 position for assigned counsel in the Office of County Administrator. Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution has been made. Do I have a second?
I'll
Second by Mr. Walrod. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried.
Resolution 14, authorize the chairman to enter into an agreement with New York State Department of Health. Oh, who's vice chair?
Vice Chairman of Public Health.
Goldstein.
Jim, you're vice of Public Health, so you're gonna have to move.
I'll move this resolution for adoption, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, resolution has been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Roberts. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Carried.
Okay, resolution number 15, modifying the 2021 adopted county budget for New York State Health Foundation grant for rural COVID-19 response. Jim Goldstein, Vice Chairman, Health and Human Services, co-signed by Yvonne Norelli, Chairwoman, Finance.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution has been made. Do I have a second? Second by Mrs. Norelli. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Goldstein,
Yes.
Steve Veronica,
Aye.
Morelli,
Aye.
Bono,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Aye.
Stokes,
Aye.
Becker,
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Roberts,
Aye.
Ostrander,
Aye.
Corbin,
Yes.
Pan,
Yes.
Walters,
Aye.
Moses,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Walrod,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Yes.
1,400 ayes.
Carried. Okay, next Eric is going to,
Oh,
You got more.
we got to go in executive session.
Not till
before-
after this.
No, gotta go back.
3 resolutions they put at the end.
Oh, all right, okay.
To the beginning.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the government operations resolutions. A resolution number 2, in respect to the death of William McGee, Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution's been made
Second.
by Mr. Corbin. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. As I said in our press release, Bill will be missed by many. Bill was a great community, great for our community, and his legacy will live on for many years to come. Bill helped out our community. I remember one time Jeanette, we were sitting at a function and she was telling me about how the dog calls would come to their house. Even as an assemblyman, he would answer phone calls about dogs just like he did when he was supervisor. So Bill was very orientated towards the community, and we are very fortunate to have Bill in our lives when we did. And our prayers go out to his family, and we want to thank his family for sharing Bill with us and letting him, him serving us for all the years that he did. So thank you for that. Okay.
Resolution number 3, in respect to the death of Paul L. Schiffer, Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution has been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Stokes. Is there any discussion? TJ, can you talk anything about Paul? I didn't know him. He wasn't on the board. Rocky, was he on the board when you were here?
Yes, he was.
Yep.
He was the type of person that would speak up. He didn't have anything to be ashamed of. He would just speak what he wanted to say, and that was Paul.
How long did he serve on the board for?
I think 2 years. That's all. He wasn't here long, John. But Bill McGee, I was here when Bill served on the board, and then he went into the assembly. So basically, I played football against Bill, knew Bill for a long, long time. And I said, I called him the day before he passed, and he didn't answer his phone. So basically, that was the last time I had any contact with him, tried to contact him. Great man.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. As far as number 3 goes, the respect of Paul Schiffer, all in favor signify by voting aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Carried. Also, Donna Brummer passed away today.
Oh.
She was the
Yes.
supervisor from Stockbridge before Alex.
We haven't had any details.
What's that?
We haven't had
And we don't have any details, but we'll be doing a resolution for Donna at our next meeting. And also our prayers go out to her family also. So, okay, number 4.
Okay, resolution number 4, authorize the chairman to execute a release. Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution has been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second it?
I did.
Moses? Okay, all in favor signify by, no, we got to do a roll call, correct?
No.
I think so, Mr. Chairman. Isn't it legal action?
No, because we separated all these. So
Okay.
all in favor signify by voting aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Carried. All right, now we're going to let Eric speak first, correct? Okay, Eric there he is. Eric is still on. He hasn't started drinking yet. So, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
He hasn't stopped.
I say that in jest. I know.
Ironically enough, in our community health assessment, alcohol misuse is our priority health issue. So I'll be addressing that when this is over.
I understand that.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. A belated happy New Year's to everyone. I'm going to start with some of the numbers and then kind of go over where we are. We're kind of in a transition phase, if you will, which I view as cautiously optimistic as we start moving into the vaccination mode. As of today, we currently have 76 active cases in our community, of which about 16 of those are nursing home residents. So the number of nursing home residents that have been affected has gone down significantly over the last couple of weeks. We have, we're averaging about 44 new cases a day. It's up 1 case a day from Christmas. So I'm somewhat optimistic, but still, again, cautiously optimistic. We haven't quite seen yet any of the impact of Christmas. It's a day 11. Give it another week to see if we had the impact from Christmas that we had anticipated, and then another week after that for New Year's. So when we get to January 19th, that'll be a telling time for me and for us to see what the impact of the holidays were on our case numbers. But right now, as I mentioned, we're seeing about 44 cases a day, which has been consistent over the last 2 weeks. We are, unfortunately, we have 49 deaths so far. We have had 6 deaths since Christmas, 3 of which were individuals from the nursing home. In total of the 49, 34 of those deaths are all nursing home residents. Kind of, as I said, we're starting into the transition phase. And what I mean by that is that we're now starting vaccination, but also simultaneously continuing to do case investigation, isolation, and quarantine activities. So the logistics and the management of those two simultaneously is a challenge, but we've been getting a lot of support, one from the board, but also from other departments in terms of volunteers. And so I think we'll be able to manage through this and continue moving forward. So our 2 tracks, if you will, are the containment, which is the isolation and quarantine, the social distancing, the mask wearing, the testing. We are continuing to do testing. Upstate Medical will be providing their testing van. Well, actually, we'll be doing it in our DMV lobby, but with the Upstate and employees, they'll be here every Thursday for the month of January. We're still working on coordinating more testing in February with them as well. However, we've also brought on, with the board's support, 22 EMTs that we've been able to hire for per diem that we can use for testing as well. So our capacity as a county to do more testing has expanded significantly with the bringing on the EMTs. And so we're looking to use them as well. Right now, the coordinating of testing has been shifted to the Office of Emergency Management, and Dan DeGear is help coordinating that right now. On the other side of the track, we are doing is the vaccination, and Madison County is one of the first of 17. Was one of 17 of counties that applied for and got vaccine for the week of the 28th of December. We only asked for 100 doses. We administered 90 on New Year's Eve, so we were able to start vaccinating before the end of the year. We have since, we are actually vaccinating at this very moment as I speak. We have a vaccination clinic occurring at the Legion Hall in Town of Sullivan in Chittenango. That'll go from 12 noon to 8 o'clock tonight. We had over 150 people registered for that today. And we have, we'll be running that vaccination clinic until Friday. We have the capacity to do at least 225 people a day. So we're also trying to push the word out. And as I think was mentioned in a previous comment, the guidance from the state changes frequently. And since Monday, we've had, well, actually today's Tuesday. So since Monday, we've actually had changes in the guidance for the priority groups. So like this week, they've included now pharmacists. So we've added that and we've reached out to them already to get them to sign up for our clinic. So as we learn about who gets put into these groups and who's next to be vaccinated, we've been very aggressive about reaching out to them as well as promoting them through SAM and the Joint Information Center. So we continue to do that. And then we're actually planning ahead for the future groups. As I mentioned before this meeting started, we've already reached out to the Office of Aging to help identify the individuals that are over the age of 65, where they may be living, so that we can help coordinate vaccinations for that group as well. Currently we are vaccinating 1A. There's several phases, and phase 1 has several subcategories: 1A, 1B, 1C. Those have been posted on our website. They're very broad, and there's still a lot of questions about who fits into those. We will try to answer those as best we can, but we do have the ability to pose those questions to the state, which we do if we have some specific questions, but also on the state website, which we have a link to on our website, is a questionnaire that people can take that determines whether or not they're eligible for vaccine at this time. So we're directing people to go there and go through that. And if they're eligible, then they can register. We have a link online for registering for us as well, or they could just call our department. We can help register them. When they do come to the clinic, we do need proof that they are a member of one of the eligible group for vaccination. That proof can be a variety of different things. It could be everything from a pay stub to letterhead from their employer, or an ID card for, like, example, like an EMT, to show us their EMT card. So that's what we're currently working on right now is Group 1A. As I mentioned earlier before, we kind of learned the week before who the next group is going to be vaccinated. I know we get a lot of questions from the general public about when am I going to be vaccinated? Unfortunately, my answer is I don't know. I can tell you what group you might be in or what phase you might be in, but I won't be able to tell you when that starts vaccination. As I mentioned, we tend to get that the week before that group. And in some instances like today, we got it today for the pharmacist that could be vaccinated this week. So as soon as we know, we let people know, try to get the word out as fast as possible.
When the MAC talked about this last week and being ready for vaccinations, I asked Eric on the calls that, we need to be ready because of the shifting sands of whims of the state changing who's going to get vaccinated. It might be the 1A group today, and tomorrow they say we got enough vaccines, so we're going to do these other 5 groups. And I got to tell you that Eric and Dan and everybody at both of those departments have stepped up to the plate. And if it opened up wide open tomorrow, Madison County would be pretty much ready for that. And hats off to both of those departments for being able to do that and accept that challenge. So,
part of what we're doing today, this week also is, as I mentioned, we were able to bring on those 22 EMTs. They are actually working. They started last week, but they're actually at the vaccination sites as well now, getting trained. And so once they're trained, we will have all of them plus my staff. We will be able to probably run multiple sites simultaneously. So we're vaccinating and training simultaneously right now. We do have enough volunteers from the other departments, as well as Medical Reserve Corps volunteers that have contacted us and are helping us with the case investigation, contact tracing side. So as I mentioned, we're running both of these kind of operations simultaneously. A little bit of logistical challenge, but I think we have the resources and able to do that, and we'll continue to push forward with this. So right now, our goal is just to get vaccine shots into arms.
Anybody have any questions for Eric?
Eric, any possibility we might get the other type of vaccine that does not require as much cold storage?
We are getting the Moderna right now, which is we can store that in our refrigerator at the office. So okay. We're not getting the Pfizer, which is to our benefit. I think the governor mentioned today there's some other vaccines that are in line for approval. The Johnson & Johnson and the Astra. I can never remember. Those are, once those come online, they offer some additional opportunities. For instance, the Johnson & Johnson one is only a one dose, shot.
I heard that, yeah.
So logistically, that one will be a lot easier to administer.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
That's the one Mark wants me to get to change my DNA. He's hoping I become nicer.
I don't think it does that, Mr. Chairman.
I don't know.
I'll make a motion for that.
I have a question, Eric. What's today we approved two sites for the vaccination. What is the plan for getting a site in Morrisville or in Hamilton? What is the opportunity for that?
We're in the process of getting a site set up at SUNY Morrisville, the ice skating rink. Those 3 sites were sites that the state asked us to identify and provide them the information. They had certain conditions. They had to be a certain square footage or larger, and some other conditions, which those are why those 3 sites were set up. In our plan, we had the school districts as different sites, but that may not be viable if school's an option in session when we do that. But we are looking at other options. We've had a couple of churches and the libraries approach us to be sites. We'll consider those as part of the rollout. One of the concerns is we need sites that are going to be able to generate a lot of people. You know, if we want at least 100. We want to at least ensure about 100 people at each vaccination site for it to be worth our effort going out there. However, we're also looking at other models totally different. With the paramedics or with the EMTs that we have now, we have a different model that we're looking at right now that we never would have had before without these groups. So with those 3 main sites we're actually looking at, so for example, we use Morrisville sites, we can have teams of EMTs physically go to people's homes and vaccinate. And then they would use the Morrisville site as a hub to come back, get vaccine, get the doses, and go to people's homes. So we know we have a lot of people that are maybe not be able to get to vaccination sites. We're looking at ways that we could actually bring it to their home and give it to them. So we're trying to think of as many creative ways as we can get it to people who may have accessibility issues.
Any other questions for Eric? Okay. What do we got to do? Go into executive session. Okay, next, I'll need a motion to go into executive session for the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular corporation or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular corporation. So I need a motion for that.
I make a motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Mrs. Norelli. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Mr. Jones. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. Before we go there, I want to particularly thank Emily Burns and Samantha for helping me on the state of the county. They were very integral in helping me get prepared for today. So thank you again. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, do we have anyone for public comment?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Not that signed up.
Okay.
So,
I gotta do some magic here and pause us and then take us off YouTube. So give me
Right,
a,
right.